Hello students, we will continue the lecture and we will discuss the refraction through prism. What happens when refraction takes place through prism? As far as concepts are concerned, this topic is very important. How it is important and what makes it important is that what causes the angle of deviation in the prism and what is the minimum angle of deviation in the prism. What are the factors that are responsible for that, and there are a few conditions under which the minimum angle of deviation takes place. So we will discuss one by one in detail. Firstly, we will discuss that what type of prism is in our syllabus and in what type we will discuss the refraction through prism. In prism we have different varieties like triangular prism, rectangular, or square prism, pentagonal prism, hexagonal prism, heptagonal prism. Octagonal prism. These are the types, and we have different varieties like this. Triangular prism are like this only. This is rectangular prism. And if this shape is like a square, then it is square prism. This is pentagonal prism. This is pentagonal prism. Similarly, we have hexagonal prism. Like this, we have this, and then the rest of the things are like this. So this is hexagonal, then heptagonal prism, and then octagonal prism. So out of these, we have to deal with only triangular prism and the refraction through the triangular prism, deviation, and everything we will discuss about triangular prism. None of these prism. But we have just gone through all this, that you should know about this, that what type of prism are there. We don't have only this kind of prism as we obtain in the lab, and we must have seen, but we have all these kinds of prism also in our scientific laboratories. So we will deal with this triangular prism. For this, in this triangular prism, we must know about certain surfaces which are like these triangular surface always gives us angle of prism. This triangular faced surface is known for giving angle of prism. We always obtain. This shaded portion is base of the prism. What is this? Base of the prism. And this rectangular and tilted face is known as refractive faces. Refractive faces of the prism. Okay. And the light ray strikes on these refractive surfaces, and then we calculate an experiment related to the prism. For practical purpose and experiment purpose, we always put the prism and make the diagram of the prism like this only, and from here there is a incident ray which falls on the surface of this prism. When it strikes or falls on this surface, it bends towards the normal. This is incident ray, and after striking it bent towards the normal and further strikes the other side of the prism. Thereafter it emerges out of the glass, this prism glass. So this is emergent ray. We have incident ray. Then when it refracted after striking on the surface of the triangular prism, this is known as refracted ray. I will write separately, refracted ray. And when it coming out of the glass of the prism, it always deviate away from the normal. Why it deviate away from the normal? Because it is coming out of the denser medium to the rarer medium. So that is why it bends away from the normal. So from here we have angle of incidence, angle of emergent ray, and we also have this angle of refraction R1 and angle of refraction R2. So this incident ray, refracted ray and emergent ray is basically a single ray which passes through this triangular glass prism. Now this is the path of the ray, but what should be the path of the ray if refraction was not working? That path is the path of our incident ray. If we project this incident ray to the direction, if this prism is not present, then this would have been the path, and the emergent ray is having its path, if projected backward, will intersect here. From this we can draw angle of deviation from where this emergent ray deviated, because this is the original path of the incident ray through the prism. If this prism would have been not placed, and if it is placed after getting refracted twice, it emerges out of the prism in the direction of this. So this is the deviated path. So what should be the level or index or angle of deviation of this incident ray when this emergent ray is placed? So this angle is actually the angle between the emergent ray and the projected path of the incident ray. So now it's clear that what is angle of deviation. So this is angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. So there are few factors on which this angle of deviation depends. And what are those factors? What are those factors in which angle of deviation depends? This is emergent ray. Angle of deviation. Suppose we have number of triangular prism, and each triangular prism is having different refractive index. So the refractive index which is in the prism is high will give us more bending than those have the lower refractive index. The prism which is having greater refractive index will bend more than those have lesser refractive index. Yes or no? So if it will be bent more, then direction of the refractive ray will be somewhere here, and after this it will, when it merges out, it will be somewhere else. So the angle of deviation will be greater. So we can say that if refractive index of the triangular prism is high, then the angle of deviation will be greater. If we will increase the refractive index of the prism, then angle of deviation will also be increased. Similarly, as we have discussed in the triangular glass lab, if it is monochromatic ray, monochromatic incident ray of light, so the wavelength is responsible for the measurement of this angle of deviation. Why it is so? Because the minimum wavelength of any incident ray will give us greater angle of deviation. So here we can say that minimum, or simply you write, if it is lesser, then the angle of deviation to the prism is higher. If it will be decreased, wavelength will be decreased, the angle of deviation will be increased. Now, what is the next factor on which this angle of deviation depends? Obviously, temperature. In the temperature, what happened? When we increase the temperature, the surface molecules or molecules of this prism will be moving around here. Means if they got energy, they will move here and there. And if they got kinetic energy and displaced from their position, become rarer comparatively. So when it becomes comparatively rarer, the refractive index decreases. If refractive index decreases, then automatically the angle of deviation will decrease. So what I mean to say, if temperature is increased, the refractive index will decrease, and on decreasing refractive index, the angle of deviation will be decreased. Okay. So these are the factors on which it depends. What are the other things on which angle of deviation depends? Angle of the prism. Angle of prism is also responsible for measuring angle of deviation, or the degree of deviation changes. So if angle of the prism is increased, the angle of deviation will be also increased. If angle of the prism is increased, the angle of deviation will be increased. What is the other factor on which it depends? Here, angle of incidence. Suppose angle of incidence is increased, what will happen? This is the most important factor we should discuss. What will happen if angle of incidence will increase? In this, we have two cases. Firstly, if we will increase the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation will decrease. On further increasing the angle of incidence here, the angle of deviation will be increased. It will be increased. And by this dual nature of angle of incidence for changing this angle of deviation, it becomes more important than the other factors of angle of deviation. So, if we will draw this in the graph, we will see the nature which is showing. This is angle of deviation and this is angle of incidence. Suppose we have different measurement of incidence angle, and this, suppose it is 30, 40, 50 degree and 60 degree. Here it is also 30, 40 and 50 and 60 degree, and it is like this. On increasing the angle of incidence, it will decrease the angle of deviation, but on further increasing, the angle of deviation will increase. We should remember that is a very narrow pointed curve here, and there will be only one angle of incidence on which we will get this angle of deviation. So what we have obtained here, that these are the 5 factors which are responsible for this angle of deviation. So now we have discussed the factors on which angle of deviation depends, whether it will increase or decrease. We have discussed. Now we will discuss the conditions on which this angle of deviation depends, and also the minimum angle of deviation. That what will be the condition for minimum angle of deviation. Okay. So now we will discuss that what are the conditions of getting minimum angle of deviation. We have this triangular glass prism. This is incident ray of light, normal at the point of incidence, then it is like this, and thereafter this is emergent ray. This is normal to this. This is like this. Okay. So this is incident ray, this is refracted ray, and this is emergent ray. This is angle of incidence and this is angle of emergence. Now, in this case, when this refracted ray strikes this, it forms the angle of refraction R1 and R2. Suppose we have, in this case, minimum angle of deviation. If it is minimum angle of deviation and it is passing, the incident ray passing through this, for getting parallel to the base of the prism, for getting this refracted ray, for getting to be parallel, this base of prism need to be parallel to this. Or we can say that this refracted ray, if is parallel to the base of the prism, then we have angle of incidence equal to the angle of emergent ray, or vice versa. Why? Because we have principle of reversibility. What we have? Principle of reversibility. On the basis of that principle, if incident ray is passing through this path and after getting refracted chooses this refractive ray, and for coming out it chooses the path of this emergent ray, principle of reversibility says if incident ray is passing through this emergent ray, this should be the emergent ray. Means if the direction of incident ray and emergent ray is be reversed, then it would have been true. So from this we get angle of incidence equals to angle of emergent ray by the principle of reversibility. By the principle of reversibility, we have this, and if we have this, suppose we have this regular prism, and this is 60 degree, this is 60 degree or 60 degree or any other angle which is regular. This will be equal, so this angle will also be equal to 60 degree, so this becomes parallel by this, as we have discussed. Now, so if this I equals to E, then R1 equals to R2 also. refraction 1, angle of refraction 1 equals to angle of refraction 2. Now, so this is the condition, and the second condition we can say that by this concept of regular prism and equating the angle, we can say the refracted ray must be parallel to the refracted ray must be parallel to base of the prism. Base of the prism. Why base of the prism? We have discussed by equating the angle of refraction and then by concept of this regular prism and this angle. If these angles will be equal, these angles will also be equal to 60. If this triangle and this triangle are similar to each other, it means that this refracted ray base of the prism will be parallel to each other. If these are parallel, so we can say the second condition, that is refracted ray must be parallel to the base of the prism. By this concept, we have discussed the refraction to prism and the condition and factors of the angle of deviation. Condition for what? Minimum angle of deviation, and factors responsible for the angle of deviation. So we have covered the most conceptual and most important topic of this chapter, that is this. For the rest of the topics we will discuss in the next class. Thank you so much.